Hey guys, what's up? Tony Saga here at the Lavender Project. So you know how I usually open all the videos I do by saying, today we're going to be talking about or doing, no, not this time. I'm going to tell you first of all, sorry I haven't been uploading anything. I think I haven't uploaded anything in 8 or 9 days. I've been really busy lately. But finally, since I'm at work now, taking care of my disabled grandmother, I can finally have peace and quiet enough to do a video. Now that we have Wi-Fi at the house, it's even awesomer. So I'm going to upload this video right after I'm done talking about it. So anyways, besides that, and now here's the intro. Today, we're talking about the mummy's curse. And you're probably asking which mummy. It's the most infamous one probably ever, besides, Cleopatra and Nefertiti. But yeah, this one is actually supposedly a real curse, and it happened kind of a long time ago, not really. So it's not really the mummy's curse, it's King Tutankhamun's curse. And basically, King Tutankhamun, King Tut, the youngest king to ever rule Egypt. I think he was of the 3rd dynasty in Egypt, and there is a total of 15 or something, or 18, I forget. He ruled 3,330 years ago in Egypt. He ruled from the time he was 9 until the time he was 19. He died when he was 19. He either died in war, battling, or in an accident, a chariot accident. We don't know yet, but it's one of the two. And matter of fact, that info has just been released in this year. So anyways, I'm gonna cut basically right to the chase here with the Mummy's Curse. If you guys haven't heard of it, watch Nat Geo, the History Channel, stuff like that. I mean, if you don't want to watch that stuff, you don't have to. But that's where I got my info from. Not all of it. I actually have a bunch of Egyptology books in my room. When I was little, between like the ages of 8 and like 13, I was interested in all of this stuff. But ever since then, I haven't really touched on the subject. So I think it would be now a good time to do this, since it was actually in my list of videos to do. And I also made a funny connection about it, which I'll talk to you later after I'm done talking about the curse. So anyways, the curse basically started in 1922. It was in late summer to early fall of 1922, when Howard Carter and his team of excavationists were in Egypt. Keep in mind that they have been searching for tombs, royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings for decades, trying to look for these royal tombs to find what's inside of them. And there's believed to be over 60 royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings, and millions and billions of dollars worth of wealth is down there, apparently. So they were looking forever now. And in late summer to early fall of 1922, Carter and his team, they actually stumbled upon King Tut's tomb. They found it, and the funny thing is, they really didn't find it. It was actually a little village boy who unearthed a step of the tomb, like where they stepped down into the tomb. He found that, and then he told them about it, I'm pretty sure, and then they found out. So they started looking through the tomb, and they found that, yes, it was King Tutankhamun's tomb. And the curse, basically, if you guys haven't known, mummies and stuff in general, because so many mummies, especially royal ones and high priests, were considered to be semi-gods or demigods, or just gods in general, because there was many gods back in Egyptian and Greek mythology and how those connected. And yes, they did connect, by the way. Not too much, but a little bit. And anyways, there were many gods. They had the falcon god, sun god, and basically a god for each important animal to them. Like cats were the most important of all. If you guys haven't noticed. But, so anyways, they found this royal tomb. They started uncovering artifacts, and they started taking artifacts out. And while taking artifacts out, they damaged the actual corpse of the mummy itself, King Tut. He was badly damaged. They cut him into they broke off his neck, and they had to cut his legs off, and they basically crushed his chest just to get the little trinkets out of his coffin that were buried with him, and put it inside of his cloth with him. I forgot what the cloth is called at the moment. I'm kind of tired. But anyways, so they were just greedy bastards or whatever, and they didn't care about the king. Which, when you're in the face of a king, you're supposed to respect him no matter what, no matter how old or anything. But so the people thought that there was a curse that was let upon them after the discovery of the tomb, and how they like defiled and soiled his body and his tomb and everything. Especially the way they did that. Of course, that if there was a curse, then that would probably be the way that it would happen. And basically, they said because these mummies, especially kings, were kind of gods in a figure, that yeah, they would have some kind of mystical curse upon whoever tried to mess with them, because there'd always be grave robbers and stuff. So, it was pretty bad because the guy who actually funded the project, his name is Lord hold on, Lord Carnarvon. Yeah, Lord Carnarvon. Sorry. He was the guy who funded the project. He was I believe he was the 5th Duke of England, or the 5th Earl. I'm not entirely sure. But yes, anyways, he was pretty, not really wealthy kind of, but more of like a important figure. He funded this project. He was with the team back then, and he had a big issue of, like, he had a history of illnesses and diseases, and his health was so bad, in fact, that you know, it was that when he actually went in the tomb, he had to stay in this like metal box and watch the people work on it, because he couldn't get down there himself. He might catch some new disease or something, and he was only at 56 at the time. But anyways, he died apparently 6 weeks after the opening of the tomb, and people were just like, yeah, he was bound to die anyway. He's already 56 years old, and I mean, that's kind of young, but still kind of old at the same time. And then again, he has a history of diseases and all this crap, so it was just bound to happen. But the thing is, why right after the tomb opening? That was part of the curse. However, they found that it was not 6 weeks after, but 4 months after, because Carnarvon and Carter actually snuck into the tomb 3 months before it actually opened. And he still didn't catch any disease, because the scientific part of this was that apparently there were supposed to be microorganisms in the air, like molds and stuff from thousands of years, that would gather, and then once they had opened this, it would all like go into the system. Every time they breathed, they would be poisoning themselves. And recent science has said, no, this can't be the case, because if this was, then he would have died in days, but he lived 4 months after. So it couldn't be any kind of thing that went into his body. There are cases where that would happen, but in King Tut's case, it wasn't. That's not what happened. Carnarvon wasn't poisoned. He just died straight out 6 weeks or 4 months after. And then right after, like for instance, the moment he died, all the lights in the city of Cairo, they went out unexpectedly, just randomly. And then at the same time, people heard his dog howl at the same time he died, and then he just dropped dead too, which is really weird. That's kind of impossible. So that would lead to, yeah, a curse of some kind, I guess. And then, Howard Carter, the actual guy who was leading the project, he didn't die until 16 years after, in 1938. So there was no really real curse on him, except for things would happen like his pet canary, little bird, got bit by a cobra and died, which actually I find that hilarious, being in Egypt. But people say there's no curse, and people say it's science, or people say no, there's no science behind this. It's definitely a curse. Well, you guys can argue all you want, but there is science to it, and I do believe there is also paranormal, supernatural references to it as well. And not to mention that 5 of the actual excavation rooms themselves, they died shortly after the opening of the tomb, within just the decade after they opened it. By the 1932, 5 of them have already died, and all by natural causes too. So yeah, that could be a big coincidence, but that was basically the whole team. And for them to die shortly after, whether it was natural causes or not, is also weird. Because Lord Carnarvon, how he died, it was a mosquito bite, and he opened the bite when he was shaving, and they say that he got infected, and he died 6 weeks after that happened. Now that may be the case, but it was probably part of the curse. Maybe. If there was a curse, then that was definitely part of it. Because there's no way he could have been poisoned by going inside the tomb. As I said before, there are tombs that's possible with all this mold and stuff from thousands of years ago. I mean, even though that it can't really survive that long. And I could go on talking about this forever, but just the facts are there that where, yes, that could happen, but in this case it didn't. New science this year has proved that just that happened. That there is probably some other explanation for this besides science. Because otherwise, Lord Carnarvon wouldn't have lived to see the opening of that tomb 3 months after he went in there with Carter. So it's kind of weird. And I don't know how to explain that myself. I'm not a scientist or anything. But, you know, it's just one of those things that it's kind of unexplainable in a way, but explainable at the same time. Like, most people said, yeah, there was a curse. Like, newspapers after Lord Carnarvon died, they said, yeah, there's probably a curse here, blah, blah, everyone was saying curse. Then, recently, they've been saying stuff like, oh, no, it was like the bacteria and the microorganisms, and now, just this year, now science has proved that that's not the case, that there might actually be some kind of supernatural thing at work here, because Lord Carnarvon was not poisoned. We know that for a fact now. I repeat that he was not poisoned by any kind of microorganism in the tomb. It was either a really bad infection, and because he was prone to viruses, his system was already weak, so weak that he had to be protected by glass and metal in the tomb itself, that he just flopped over and died when this happened. His body couldn't handle it, and that was probably brought on from this curse. And then right after, I mean, how are all the lights going to go out right when he dies? And then his dog just, whoo, and then falls down dead. Ugh. That's kind of weird to me. That's impossible for that all to happen at once. Unless that is either the biggest coincidence on Earth and you are a god, or you were fucked by a god because you got cursed by a god. So it's kind of funny how that worked out. People have been talking about this for years. It's been a little bit over 90 years since this happened. It will be 91 years this summer. But it's just the fact that that's kind of crazy. Not to mention, if you guys ever seen that creepy Courage the Cowardly Dog episode, season 1, episode 7, King Ramses' curse. That episode was influenced by this curse, and the mythology of it and stuff. And they were basically making fun of it, which was kind of funny, because I'm also going to do a video on that, scary cartoon moments. That's going to be one of the episodes. That's really a creepy Courage the Cowardly Dog episode in itself. But I'm just telling you, that's the kind of funny connection I found today when I was researching this. And yeah, they just basically made fun of it. But yeah, there was apparently a real curse that, happened to all these people. And I believe in the science in it, but there's also things that can't be explained. If science is going to say, look, there might be microorganisms there, yeah, I listened to them when that happened. But now if science is coming out and saying, look, that's not possible because he would have died shortly after, then I'm going to have to believe it, because I'm a big man of science. My dad and my grandpa were scientists, techs, and engineers, and my grandpa even worked for the CIA with a couple of things. He was a scientist for the CIA, and he, in fact, just retired last year, I think. So yeah, I can't keep talking about this whole day. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this with all these facts. And if you guys want to go search it up right now. I suggest going to natgeo.com, because that's where I went. I saw a Nat Geo thing today. Basically, science has proved, no, that he wasn't poisoned from whatever. So go to natgeo.com, search it up on some other stuff if you want to, and the data might be outdated from now. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe to become a TLP boss today. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Down here. And thanks for watching this video. Sorry I haven't uploaded anything in a while. And if you guys want to inbox me with anything about this video or any other video, go ahead, make that, and I'll try to do a video on it or whatever you want me to do. I'm there for you guys. And any data you guys have for me, let me know. So anyways, thanks for watching, and watch my other videos. Bye.